Okay, Yatin, thanks for joining us and getting us those details on what the deal rooms have to say. But let's address earnings. And well, with that, I want to address what's happening with Mastek at this point in time. We got a steady quarter coming through, at least on a sequential basis, where we're seeing about 3.1% rise in its total income from operations, with profits rising 5.6%. This, of course, is a quarter-on-quarter number. So I would say that it is a fairly stable quarter for Mastek. We are in conversation with John Owen, the Group CEO of Mastek. John, good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us. Let's start by taking a look at all the factors that are now playing out for Mastek. Where we certainly have seen a recovery, a resurgence, if you will, over the past 3 or 4 quarters. Well, if you could give us an idea about what's actually working in favor of the company now.
Well, thank you for inviting me in, and I think you summarised it very well. It's been a stable and a steady quarter. And I think it comes on the back of our Vision 2020 strategy that we started 2 years ago, which was all about transforming the business in year 1, learning to win faster than the market in year 2, and growing and accelerating in year 3. And we're just coming to the end of year 2. So I'm pleased with the results. I think it's about the 11th consecutive quarter of sequential growth, year on year at just short of 20%. So I think we've got a basis to build on, and we're very excited about, all our businesses in digital. About 82% of our revenue is digital, so we're heavily orientated to the next generation of technology, which is a different business model, different technologies, different delivery model. So we're really excited about the future.
John, I don't usually get into geopolitics, but this one is to do with Brexit. And I'm asking you this because about 3/4 of your revenues come from UK, right? And my question then is, I know that we don't have any clarity with respect to Brexit at this point in time. Is there any scenario out there that could eventually lead to, well, some sort of impact on the company's financials?
So I think, Brexit is one of those geopolitical, and I think we've got to put it in the context of Mastek and our public sector business with UK government. We're one of the top 10 suppliers in digital to the government today, and we're probably higher if you look at our delivery track record. So our business there, I think, is a lot more robust than one action on Brexit. Brexit is going to, I'm not too sure what the decision is. What does it mean for suppliers like us? Is the government are still on a major digital transformation. They want to build new digital solutions because they want to engage with their citizens. So it's about citizen experience, and that plays well to Mastek. So I would argue we probably have more resilience than lots of people look, because they look at our exposure to the UK, they look at our exposure to the public sector, and they put 2 and 2 together and make 35. I'm a lot more optimistic both for Mastek, because we are going, we're still in the top 10, but there's so much upside for us already within the UK public sector. But it's about diversifying across departments, not just in the Home Office and the MOD, but moving across all central government and being known as a supplier of choice to the UK government. So I'm not going to get into the politics of it, but I don't think it translates directly to impacting us, irrespective of the decision.
Sure. John, what I'm also seeing is a considerable uptick with respect to your order backlog for the 9 months ending December. Can you tell us a little more about the nature of these orders and
Sure.
What kind of impact it can have perhaps on margins going forward?
Correct, and I think what we've done through that strategy is we've built stability. So we're engaging with we've got professional account managers, and we're building what I call strategic accounts. And they're accounts that deal with us because they trust us to deliver their digital solutions on time, on budget, to the quality and enterprise needs. And that means that they're taking all our service lines, not just application development or agile consulting, but they're taking our digital commerce, or they're taking our BI and analytics. So we've got a lot more resilience in that. So I think our account management is really providing the bedrock that we can start to deliver predictable financial performance, which is, let's be honest, that's been the challenge we've had over our history. And I think this, as our 11th consecutive quarter of quarter-on-quarter growth, hopefully gives some proof points that we're starting to build that financial predictability into our business. So I think the revenue line I'm optimistic about. We've got as you say, we've got a good order book. We've got a healthy pipeline. It's about execution now. As we execute, I would expect us to to protect that margin, so we're not going to fall off. But it is about, when do we want to grow? How quickly do we want to grow? How do we get our delivery models to drive more margin? But for me, given where Mastek have come from, where we are and where we're going, it was all about stabilizing the business. And I think the solid quarter is good, but I think we have really good foundations to not just do revenue growth, but also improve the quality of earnings over time.
Right, John, a final question then. About a third of your revenues come from retail services. From what I've noticed in your peers, at least, there has been a lot of volatility with respect to growth in this particular area. What is your reading going forward? Do you think there could just be a little more, there could be some more challenges in the outset? How are you seeing things develop with respect to this particular vertical?
I think retail is probably the most distressed segment if you look at the impact of digital, because you've got new players like Amazon absolutely becoming disruptive in the market, and the whole sort of dynamics change. So we see that as excitement because people have to change. The one bit I would say, our retail sales are a good proportion, but I don't think it's a market dynamic. I think we've not really executed to our full potential in that segment. So I'm a lot more optimistic that as we improve our execution track record, particularly in the retail space with our digital commerce business, we'll start to grow faster than the market. But I don't think the market is, I think the market is really exciting, but it's a fundamental shift in the new generation of retailers who are e-commerce based and the old bricks and mortar. I still think we're in that sort of transition period. So at a macro level, it may be flat, it may be declining, but the shift is quite exciting to the new online companies.
Right, fair enough,
and that's
John.
where Mastek really do help companies, build that digital interface. Thank you.
Right, John. Thank you so much for joining us and taking us through the outlook for the company. Yes, well, that's Mastek with a steady set of numbers coming in. This is the management talking to us about the outlook. But I want to very quickly shift focus to Sun Pharma, which